On this episode, we're recapping a wild Disney weekend at Fort Wilderness Camping, great food, lightning lanes, and newly reopened attractions. Today's May 26, 2026, and this is episode 872 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys!
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, get the latest theme park news, as well as live streams from the parks and resorts, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the studio.
Yeah, we're back. Back in the studio.
Yay.
We had an exorcist come in. And rid the studio of ghosts. We'll see. We are back in the studio. Thanks everyone for hanging with us during our little hiatus. We hope that you enjoyed the last episode, which we did the live dining review at Hollywood and Vine.
That was super cool.
That was
super good.
It was only a very, 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 very small fraction of our weekend down in Disney.
And I feel like it was like a week ago.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? So we have a lot to cover. Yeah.
So buckle up, guys.
All right.
Because I'm exhausted in a good way.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I am too. I am too.
I'll let you know later.
Well, we're going to talk about this weekend that we had. We had not been in the parks. I know, woe is me, woe is us. We had not been in the parks in 45 days, which is pretty lengthy for us.
Yeah, it is.
We had a cruise in between, so we took a little time away. We had Kaylin's graduation. We had, all kinds of stuff going on. So we had a lot to catch up on in the parks, a lot to report on. And we are going to, I know a lot of times we'll kind of break this down by section, like, well, here's the rides, or here's the food, or here's just the stay. But we're going to actually go through the weekend.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be the best way to cover this.
Okay.
And we're going to start it with Thursday when we arrived. This is when the pass holder preview started for Rock and Roller Coaster, now featuring The Muppets. Virtual queue for annual pass holders for the first couple days. I was very happy to report
You still got it?
I still got it. I still was able to nail the virtual queue at exactly 7 a.m.
Yep.
They were actually doing them a couple times throughout the day. I think it was 7, 11, and 1 with certain restrictions. 7 a.m. you had to have a reservation for Hollywood. I believe it was at 11 a.m. like you had to have a reservation for any park, but you had to have already touched into that park.
Okay.
And then I think they did a 1 p.m. Drop as well.
Oh.
So we got the 7 a.m. We left the house, and basically we got down there and walked in with just enough time to see John Self himself for a few, catch up with him a little bit before we headed on into Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. So, Rhonda, I would love to get your thoughts on the reskin, the refurb first, knowing that, you're not the biggest Muppets fan. You didn't shed any tears when Muppets Vision 3D closed.
No.
Like many people did.
Nope.
So what were your thoughts, Aerosmith now compared to the Muppets, the updates to the queue, to the ride, to the soundtrack and all that?
I think it's fantastic. I think for people who love the Muppets, they're going to love it. And for people like me who don't really care, they're going to love it. I know we also ran into Sean, and I think it was his daughter that kind of she just does not like him, creeps her out. Like, they're creepy, and she's just, maybe a phobia. And with all that being said, I mean, we were like, oh yeah, I think she could ride it. Like it was good. I personally have come to the conclusion, because of all the piercings that I have on my ears, to be honest, and the height that I'm at, I don't like Rock and Roller Coaster, period.
Yeah. As a ride. Vehicle
As a vehicle ride.
Yes.
If the vehicle ride actually, instead of the harness going down over us, if you took and switched it out and did the lap harness brace where you wouldn't fall out like Velocicoaster, I would 100% think probably different.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. I mean, again, your head is right where each side of that harness is banging up against your ears, which are filled with holes.
Right. But, and earrings. But I have to keep my head back. I know it says it, but I just, I don't. I rode it twice this weekend. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we did.
And it was great. I enjoyed riding it for the fact of A, getting to see more stuff again, B, having a different song. And then once I had the different song, I think I realized that I had the first song.
Right.
So it was really cool. I think we're going to say this a lot this episode. Disney's back.
Yeah.
Well done, Disney.
Yeah.
Like the pizza Rizzo boxes, like there's so many things. Like it's just good job, Disney. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, there's Easter eggs galore throughout, and I want to get into this conversation in a second. Just, I loved it. You know, I am a Muppets fan. I'm not a crazy Muppets fan. Like, I don't know that I own a piece of Muppets merch that I could have even worn, but I really enjoy the Muppets, and I love Muppet Vision 3D. I like the humor. I like most of the characters. I think that this was such a good redo. I don't want to say that brings it into a modern age, because the Muppets have been around for, as long as Aerosmith, basically. But I do think it was time for a redo. And I think this was a really cool way to do it. I think that it has a lot for the fandom. Like, this is one where, I think people want to question all the time, does Disney even know the average park fan? Are they doing things for them? Are they just trying to make money? And of course they are. But this is fan service. This was Disney sitting back and going, look, man, people are upset that Muppet Vision 3D is gone.
Yep.
We have to keep something Muppets alive. And I do think Disney keeps trying to bring the Muppets back. It's not Disney's fault anymore.
Right.
It's our fault.
Right.
Right.
And
the recent
we're
Muppet
being
show
phased
with
out.
Right. I mean, the recent Muppet show with Seth Rogen that he did and Sabrina Carpenter on, like, they are, you take Seth Rogen, that is very much of our generation, and to write and direct and produce and all, and then you bring a Sabrina Carpenter, which is the next generation to come in. So they are trying to get those in. I don't know if it's ever going to work, but I'm so glad this is here, and I hope that it sticks around for a very, very long time. Yeah. I think the upgrades to the exterior of the building, to the guitar, to the car that's out front, are all very well done.
I agree.
I love the walkthrough. There is going to be a ton of rewritability, not for the ride, but for the queue.
Yeah.
And we don't get that a lot.
True.
There are so many Easter eggs in the queue, and I purposely did not go out and look at them all. Disney released it. We posted it to our website. Like, you can go find all the Easter eggs. I didn't want to see them because I wanted to see what I could find. And I can guarantee you, I found a very, very tiny fraction, because there are so many throughout. Like you mentioned, the Pizza Rizzo boxes.
That was cool.
The Muppet Mobile Lab that used to drive around Epcot. That is in the launch area.
You pointed that out because I didn't know about that.
Yeah. I mean, you hadn't remembered something like that. There's just, and those are 2 out of hundreds, I feel like. Even during the ride, there's a funny little sign that nods towards Easter eggs.
Oh.
And so I thought they did such a good job. I think the pre-show is great. There are different elements to the pre-show each time you do it. Mm-hmm. So much like you have, 6 different songs, and that does give it obviously some rewritability, the same way Cosmic Rewind does.
Oh, there is 6
There's
different...
6 different songs, all performed by the Muppets, some of the original bands. We got Born to Be Wild, which is performed completely by the Electric Mayhem, featuring Camilla the Chicken. There's rewritability there, but in the queue, there are different moments to the pre-show. There is so much to find in the queue. It's just, it's about as perfect as it could be. There's a nod to Ken Marino, the old
That
sound tech
was
from
awesome.
Aerosmith, like just little details. Now, here comes the question. Will the average park goer who, again, is not a big Disney fan, not a Muppets fan, maybe isn't married to someone who enjoys the Muppets and can pick some of those things out the way you are, do you think the average family from the Midwest, from Denver that's coming for their once-a-year trip, will still enjoy this for what it is? Or do you think it's so niche that they'll just be confused? I mean, everybody has heard of the Muppets.
Right.
Do you think that they need to know the Easter eggs? They need to know, you know what I mean?
No.
Do you think they're still going to get
100%.
the humor and enjoy
100%.
the ride and go, hey, that was a lot of fun,
100%.
even if I don't know
100%. Because if the
why this is over. I don't know who this guy is in the hallway, this Ken Marino fella.
Oh, well, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
That's not going to take away from it, right?
Right. No.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, they might, and then, I hate to say it like this, then they'll just Google it, and then they'll
really
go,
care.
oh, this used to be Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith, and then, I mean, obviously, depending the age of the person, they're going to go, who's that?
Right.
Whereas Muppets, like you just said about
more
Seth
universal.
Rogen and Sabrina Carpenter, yes, I do think it is more universal, and I think it isn't as phased out like, unfortunately, Aerosmith.
Because here's the thing. Every generation does have a Muppets.
Correct.
Not every generation has an Aerosmith.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
So
and again, even if our kids went and they were like,
yeah,
they'd go, oh yeah, I saw the Muppets only because of Sabrina Carpenter.
Right.
Like Lacey would say that.
Yeah.
Whereas if they have kids and they take their kids, they're going to go, yeah, I saw it. And, but my dad really liked it. Your pop-up or whatever you're going to be called. Yeah. I mean, things like that, I think is generational where it'll be like that. Whereas if it was still Aerosmith when she was taking her kids, she'd probably, go, yeah, it's some band. Your pop-up liked it, not me, and never heard of them.
Yeah.
I did. Or whoever I'm gonna be, if she even has kids. And then that's just so far down the road where, again, like you just said, I think it's you said, it
is an improvement overall. Muppet fan, no Muppet fan,
Yep.
Disney fan,
100%.
no Disney fan. Agreed. From here, before we headed over to lunch at Hollywood and Vine, which of course you can go back to the last episode, the animation studio's courtyard, Old Launch Bay area. The courtyard is currently open. Everything else is opening. Actually, I think on the day that this episode drops, on the 26th, you're going to get, I believe that's the day everything else opens, where you're going to get, the Olaf animation. You're going to have some other stuff, but the courtyard is open. There's areas to walk around in there. What were your thoughts? It sits right in between Disney Play. It sits right in between the Little Mermaid show. There's a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show now that is taking over in there. And they were previewing that. We didn't get a chance to check it out, but what did you think of this area now?
Well, growing up and having the arches and even having pictures of, us in front of that as a young child.
When it said MGM Studios.
Correct. I'm sad, but again, wow, well done, Disney. It is gorgeous. I don't miss the arches. The sorcerer's hat is there.
Yeah, it's back.
It is amazing. And the little characters around.
Yep.
Oh, I absolutely loved. I think it's neat. I think it's neat to kind of rest, relax over there. I love back inside, where all the pictures were. Yeah. That's something kind of
stroller
nice.
Parking now. I mean, which it used to be for Launch Bay and all that. But
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, there wasn't too many strollers where you could still walk around.
No, it was not busy or anything.
I mean, worst case
but
scenario, that's a great place to go. Just kind of, I just need to hang out.
Oh yeah, get in the shade and
shade.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then there's giant animation cells of Pixar
cool.
and Disney movies over the decades.
Cool. I can't wait to see what they have behind the closed stuff. So
yeah, I think it's another wonderful addition, and it's something that they turned over so quickly. I don't really feel like it feels that way, though. I mean...
Oh, I agree.
Obviously, as a big Disney fan, you sit there and go, all right, this was launch bay. I can kind of picture it, but it's not one of those that I think the average guest comes in and goes, well, what did this used to be? It looks like they just slapped some paint on it. You know what I mean? I love the characters throughout the courtyard. Yep. We've got everything. I mean, gosh, I'm trying to just think off the top of my head real quick.
Lucifer,
everything from
Zazu.
Zazu, Pua. Who was Pua hanging out with? I already forgot now. There's
an older character.
There's characters.
A newer character and
everywhere.
an older character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there
great
was
photo ops.
The cat by Big Hero 6 by
the bathrooms
right?
up on top.
Abu.
That's right. Abu is there.
Love
it's
that.
going to get a Disney Animation Studios store, which will be awesome because we can always use some more shopping.
Absolutely.
Again, I thought they did a wonderful
100%.
job here. That was really the end of our Thursday because our main focus, as far as parks go, because our main focus was to do Rock and Roller Coaster. So we went ahead and we headed over to
Hollywood
check
and
in.
Vine.
Yeah, and Hollywood and Vine, obviously. So we went over to check in to Fort Wilderness. We bought this new tent setup that attaches to the back of the 4Runner.
Yes.
Where the 4Runner hatch can be kept open. So
Yes.
we are still sleeping on our fitted air mattress
Yes.
in the back of the 4Runner. But then we have basically, I think it's a 8x8 or 10x10 tent.
I'd have to look it up. I don't remember.
Yeah,
But it supposedly sleeps 5.
Those things are so ridiculous. I love those. I love those when
know.
they say like this sleeps 12 people. And then it's literally people. It's little teeny animated people lined, like usually head to toe. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they're almost like backwards,
like Tetris.
And they are like Tetris, and they're all just slammed into like a 10x10 space. You're like nobody has ever slept like that. Like this is ridiculous,
right? Because then they're
it's
just
a 2-person tent,
right? It's just in a it's just in sleeping bags and
Right.
stuff, not on
not even
air
an air
mattresses
mattress or anything.
even cots.
or having, I don't know, one small carry-on size bag in there with your clothing. So anyway, this is like a 2-person size tent.
Yes, it is.
But what we wanted,
fantastic.
and the issue we've had in the past, is that, working or sleeping in back of the truck works well enough for us personally. And everything you hear about this camping adventure is what Rhonda and Jeremy are okay with. We're not telling anyone to do this or like,
No.
hey, you've never been camping? You should do this. You would love it. No, you would probably hate it.
Yeah,
Get a cabin, rent a camper, right?
100%.
Just do that. Okay.
I would, and eventually, these are times where it saves us money. To be honest,
we're going to talk about that because it doesn't technically. But these are the things that we want to discuss for people that this might be for. Okay. And if it's not for you, then you can just hear of our adventure. But it's so cool because it can stand alone as a regular tent, or
Yes,
it basically has on one side. My best thought is like a sleeve that basically wraps around, like a little tunnel that wraps around and has clips and all, and suction cups and all kinds of cool stuff that wraps around your entire back of the truck so the hatch can stay open. And it's great. And what we wanted is space to change. Before we were laying down in the back of the truck to change.
Yeah.
And it's a weird situation doing that. It's not comfortable. It's hard. Mm-hmm. We were storing our clothes. We could only pack the small suitcase. They were sitting up in the front seat. Mm-hmm. The other front seat had stuff all stacked in it, like overnight stuff.
Yep.
Now we were able to set up a table. We were able to bring a lot more stuff, a larger suitcase. Mm-hmm. And so this was just going to be a good setup for us. So we went and we checked in with the wonderful Bella, who was such a sweet cast member, and chatted with her some. And Rhonda had the wonderful idea of requesting that we be very close to a comfort station,
if possible,
which is their bathrooms.
Right, because we did rent a golf cart.
Yes, we did.
So technically, I was like, we don't have to because we have that. But I was like, I'm getting older, and I do sometimes have to use a restroom at night. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah. And this is a good reason if you are camping at Fort Wilderness, whether you're in a tent, whether you are in a camper, even people that have campers, some people have camper rules, like no number 2s in the camper, right? It's understandable. Okay. When somebody, depending on the size of your camper, if somebody drops a number 2, it could stink up the whole camper. So a lot of people do have rules. You're not allowed to do that in the camper. So you may want to be near a comfort station for that reason.
Okay.
This is a great reason to not check in online. To check in person and request that.
True.
And she had no problem offering us actual 2 different spaces.
Yep.
We got the one we preferred, and we were right next door to it.
It's amazing.
So we get there and we start setting up, and within minutes, 2 cast members pull up on a golf cart with a gift from Bella, which was a full s'mores kit. So a thing of graham crackers, 2 things of Hershey's chocolate, big bag of jumbo marshmallows, 2 sticks, and then came in a nice little reusable Fort Wilderness bag, which was super cool.
Yeah, it was.
And thought that was really sweet. Talk about, I guess, our camp setup the best you can in the same way that we would do, just say, a room review. You know, what does our setup look like? And you can go out to YouTube. And I'll make sure I try and remember to put the link to our YouTube video and channel in the notes. We did a quick video tour, a couple minutes, so you can see what this setup looks like. So if Rhonda doesn't Bob Ross enough of a picture of this, then you can go out and watch it.
Well, it was funny because Jeremy got the golf cart, and then I went to these site, and I guess he thought, oh, I know where I'm going, so I'm going to go.
I did think that.
Went the complete opposite way. So I went to our site, and I backed in first. And I had to get everything out of the back anyway, so it was no big deal. But then when Jeremy got there, everything was out. And then I was like, is this what we want to do? And then he was like, actually, though, if you pull in, and this made really good sense because so the site that we were at obviously is a tent site. So they only have electric and water on the site. Mm-hmm. And half of it is basically gravel rock. Mm-hmm. And then half of it is your concrete. So I pulled in onto the gravel rock to park, and then the tent was on the concrete part, which actually worked really, really well.
It did. It really did.
Well. Because for one, too, Fort Wilderness, they come by, and when their air quote cleaning of the room for your site is they spray the entire thing off with water, and then they also blow it with a what is that blower thing that
leaf blower.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so it is sometimes very like there's clean and no rocks or anything. So that was great. So I pulled in, and then we put the tent on the concrete, and then it was just. And then I have all these things for the windows that I can pull it down. But just note to self, if you go anywhere for a length of time, a Florida storm could come. So it did not for us because we went back and closed everything up. But just that is something that I would remind myself to do when we leave for a park.
Yeah, what Ron is talking about is we have these screens that go over your windows of your vehicle so that you can roll the windows down, and then you basically just have a screened window, which allows a lot of good airflow. That we've been using for a while. And then on the outside part of the tent, on the back or the front side, I guess technically, we have a 10x10 awning that we pop up. You put camp chairs under there, string up some lights. Like you've got a great indoor-outdoor space.
Yeah.
And then every campsite comes with picnic table. There is a charcoal old school grill there if you choose to do that. And then like Rhonda said, there's the electric, there's the water, stuff like that. And then for us to be able to walk, 50 yards, maybe less around just to get to a bathroom was so nice. Because when you got to pee at 3 a.m., and that's the other thing. This was so much easier to accommodate even just getting in and out of in that sense where, I could just pop right out the back of the Forerunner off of the air mattress. I'm standing with 7-foot tall ceilings in this tent. So I could throw a shirt on, quietly go out, go to the bathroom, come back. So all of that, I think, made it just perfect. We decided after we got all set up, because when you are setting up at the end of May in Florida, a campsite, it is hot. You are sweaty. We decided to go check out the pool. We did the pool every day, right? So Fort Wilderness has a quiet pool area, but their main pool area at Meadows Swimming Pool, which is near the store. This is where movies are at night. This is where a lot of the main activities are. Like this is what, even though technically the lobby is up front, this would be what you think of when you think of amenity driven areas at any other resort.
Right.
Where you're going to have pools, shops, some food. The main restaurant and all isn't here at Trails Inn and stuff, but there's the snack area there at the pool. And recently, it's a great pool. It's got a wonderful kids splash area with little tiny slides. It has its own slide, which puts it up to a moderate deluxe pool area.
Yes.
But they recently opened an additional pool that sits right next to this one because this pool gets absolutely nuts and packed.
It does.
One thing you have to think about with Fort Wilderness is that this is going to be more of a staycation area than many.
Yes.
Because you have people that just love camping.
Yeah.
They want to do it at Disney because of how clean, how nice all the amenities and everything are. So a lot of times they are not spending all their days in the parks. They're at things like the pool. What did you think of the new pool area, which is like 20 feet from the old pool area? And they incorporated it so well. This seems like one giant pool complex that has been like this for ages, but this only opened like a month or something ago.
Oh, it's amazing.
This added pool. Yeah.
Again, well done, Disney.
They crushed it with
There
this. Yeah.
is a river country, like barrel thingy.
That was cool.
Over, and I mean, just, it is, this one seems more like it could be the adult pool, like a quieter pool when it's not crazy busy.
Yeah.
Thursday was a almost like adult pool.
Yeah, there was like one or two kids maybe over there.
/ quiet. It was nice and quiet over there. Everything was wonderful. That was Thursday. It is nice because it is 0 entry. There is some rock that don't climb on the rocks, but there is in the pool by the rocks seating, which is amazing.
Bench seating along the
bench seating. That's
side
the
of
right
the
word.
pool.
So great.
It was awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's a nice chill
so
pool
good.
area.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was great. Umbrellas,
all new bathrooms. Yep.
All new bathrooms.
Chairs, umbrellas. Like
so nice.
They
It
did
was
such
wonderful.
a good job with this.
Again, well done, Disney.
Yeah.
Now, that was Thursday. We went to the pool every day.
We did. We went every day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We went to the pool in the mid-afternoon.
Friday was busier, more kids, and Saturday was insane.
Just nuts. I mean, it's Memorial Day weekend
It
too.
Is. It was
and
insane.
and it was nuts. But
it
you
was
gotta.
fun.
But you have to think. And I said this to you that day. When you think of the crowd that was there, it all used to be in that one pool,
100%.
that one original pool.
100%.
So now that they've expanded, it was crazy, but it wasn't to the extent that obviously it used to be.
Right.
And so I think this expansion was much, much needed.
Yes.
This is something that had to come along with, switching out, I think, the DVC cabins and, trying to make this a nicer area overall. So, again, I think they absolutely crushed it.
I do too.
We went back. We got changed. We didn't really know what we were going to do for the evening, so we kind of started golf carting around a little bit. We were doing some of the scavenger hunting that we've talked about before. You can go out and look at these Fort Wilderness scavenger hunt groups out on Facebook. We had some items to hide. We were kind of riding around looking for stuff, and we made our way down kind of to Pioneer Hall, which is their other main area. This has Pioneer Hall, which includes Crockett's Tavern, Trails Inn Restaurant, Hoop-de-Doo Review. It's got the model cabins for DVC. It has another store there, playground, golf cart parking, and a new resort that is basically sitting on top of everything.
Yep.
Lakeshore Lodge is going to be one of the most stunning, beautiful resorts I think Disney has ever created when it's done, just from looking at it. It's way too close to Fort Wilderness, and I'm still not of the mind that it's going to kill the Fort Wilderness vibe, but it's weird.
Yeah.
It's so close. I wish that there could be some separation instead of feeling like, standing at Pioneer Hall, you could throw a rock and hit somebody on their balcony there when it opens. Right. And then you have these.
They could throw something
to you and hit you. Then you have these A-frame cabins that are going along the water that have completely encroached and taken up half of Clementine Beach.
Yes.
And the beach area is gone because of that.
Yeah.
That half of it.
Right.
Now there's still a lengthy beach area on the other side, but I don't know if Disney hasn't figured out what to do with it yet because there's like 9 chairs. Like they need to fill that with more Adirondack chairs and tables and places for people to hang out. So it'll be interesting to see when it's done. If this feels more, I don't know that it.
Off,
I don't know because I don't know if it's going to be open and very passable back and forth. The best I can think is Riviera and Caribbean Beach, which Riviera and Caribbean Beach feels kind of like one giant collective moderate deluxe sister resort.
Because we know
I don't know if this is going to be the same.
A restaurant.
Mm-hmm. There's a restaurant right on the water by the pool. It's going to have a lazy river. Now the lazy river will have to be, closed in and fenced in, obviously.
I feel like that'll be Magic Band only.
But
like the Poly.
Right. I know 100% it will. Will this be like you're staying at Caribbean Beach and you go, you know what? Let's grab dinner at Bar Riva. Mm-hmm. Is this going to be the same where you're hanging at Fort Wilderness? You go, hey, let's grab dinner at the Lakeshore Lodge, pool bar area. And it's that close and you walk over. I think it will be, which could be a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But from the water, when you're taking a boat, which we decided to over to Wilderness Lodge, it is going to be just stunning. Mm-hmm. This huge, multi-story lobby with these big open windows and the pool and then the restaurant right on the water. It's going to be beautiful. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait to see it done.
I know.
Sadly, if you know about the shoe tree.
Oh.
Cast members, boat captains, when they leave or retire, whatever it may be, they take their white pair of shoes and they fling them up on this tree that was sitting right in front of where River Country used to be, now Lakeshore Lodge. And this tree had tons of these white shoes hanging from them. Well, they cleaned it up because Disney didn't think it was very appropriate to have a shoe full of trees hanging out in front of a soon-to-be deluxe
shoes.
A tree. What did I say? A shoe full of trees. A tree full of shoes hanging out in front of this new deluxe resort. There is a new tree in another area, but we heard the one captain say nobody's ever going to see it.
Yep.
So that was a little sad. I mean, it's understandable, but it's not. I think it'd be cool. You'd have all these people coming to this new resort, sitting at dinner at this restaurant and going to their, server. Why is there a tree full of shoes right there? And then they get to hear that cool story. But
you do?
Yeah, I'm okay with it, but I don't know. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're thinking, I spent $1,000 on a studio room tonight. I don't want to look at a tree full of smelly, stinky shoes. And that's understandable.
Well, I wouldn't think they would be smelly or stinky anymore because they're out in the
right, but they sit out in all the elements and the rain and the heat and the moisture. They probably smell. I guarantee it's a smelly tree. So, but what did we decide to do for dinner? And this was just something we didn't have a plan. We just thought, hey, let's go do this thing.
Well, there is a boat that not only goes from Magic Kingdom just back and forth from Magic Kingdom from Fort Wilderness, but there is one that goes to Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge. Mm-hmm. So we decided to get on that, and we went to Wilderness Lodge to basically go eat at Geyser Point.
Yeah, they're doing some refurbishment of if you've been over to Wilderness Lodge and you've taken a boat, there's all these wooden docks, walkways. Oh,
yeah.
Right. And the main one that takes you right from the boat over to where Geyser and the pool is being completely reboarded.
Yeah.
So we had to go way around over to the other villas or the cabins there and come to a back. It was kind of interesting. But we did go to Geyser Point, and what did we split? We had this about a year or two ago, maybe, and I remember it being absolutely incredible. So we decided to split this.
This is a ribeye steak sandwich with caramelized onion, provolone, garlic aioli, au jus on a sourdough roll for $22. And it's a pretty decent sized sandwich.
It is. It was not near as big as it was the last time we got it. It was very new the last time we got it, so they've made some adjustments.
And I do feel like some of the other ones I saw might have been bigger. More. And I was thinking and hoping, because we said split it,
right,
she would I don't know, or they would make it a little bit bigger. I mean, even if they had to go, okay, well, we have to upcharge you,
right,
a $2 sharing fee, fine.
Yeah.
If it was going to be bigger. Yeah. Of course, it comes with French fries, and that was really good. And then we got the coffee and donuts creme brulee, which is really weird because it's an espresso creme brulee.
Yes.
And it's got some chocolate pieces on it, and then 2 mini little donuts that are glazed and got some bacon.
Yeah, on the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I go back and talk about the sandwich real quick?
Really good. Yes. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. This is one of the best sandwiches on property. I think the sandwich is unbelievable. It is one of the best French dip sandwiches, which is basically what it is, I've ever had. The roll is so soft. The au jus with it is great. The steak inside is tender. It's outstanding. Yes, back to the creme brulee.
The roll was really
Oh my gosh, the roll is so soft.
And yeah.
This tastes like a roll, like, you go somewhere. I know this isn't a po' boy, this isn't like a New Orleans roll, but, like you might go to a restaurant that's like, yeah, we have, authentic po' boys, and you're not in New Orleans. And they go, we fly in the bread every day. This tastes like a fly in the bread situation, right?
Yeah.
So I think this should be called a coffee creme brulee with mini donuts, not coffee and donuts creme brulee. Because that makes me think that the creme brulee itself is also flavored with some kind of donut.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, it is a coffee espresso creme brulee, and next to it are 2 mini glazed donuts with bacon on them.
And when we got it and we said something, I remember the last time, which I'm really shocked they haven't changed the name or changed something around with it, because the guy was like, I remember our waiter was like, yes, it's very confusing.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
And you gotta like espresso. Like this is a very, very coffee flavored creme brulee, but it's good. And I love the little chocolate pieces that it comes with.
So good.
This is a really wonderful dessert. So we headed back to the campground, did some more driving around in the golf cart. You got to get a golf cart if you're there. We'll talk about that more in a second. And then we parked at the beach and found some chairs to watch the electrical water pageant, which comes by every night. It starts over. There's actually, if you're taking that walkway from Magic Kingdom over to Grand Flow, when you go over the one bridge, you can look to the right, and there's a waterway that cuts behind kind of where Pirates of the Caribbean and all is. And you can actually see the water pageant boats and all parked there.
Yeah.
So they come out there, they make their way all the way through Bay Lake, Seven Seas Lagoon. So you can watch it from Contemporary. You can watch it from Poly, from Grand Flow, from Wilderness Lodge, and Fort Wilderness.
Yep.
This was 10 p.m. showings of Happily Ever After this night. So this came around 9:45. It is as old school as it can get. We've talked about this before, and I know I always get messages about these bulbs being made like custom for Disney.
I remember that.
But it's so fun. It's so classic. If you love the Main Street Electrical Parade, it's this on water, basically. And then we watch Happily Ever After, which you're going to see the fireworks over the tree line, but they pump the soundtrack in. And they have done something, whether it was just simply put in new wiring or new speakers, or they found the volume button. The last time we did this, it was not good sound, and you couldn't hear it well, and it was scratchy. They've done something to upgrade, because this was as close to being on Main Street sound-wise. Like, the sound was full. It was clear.
It wasn't that loud.
It was good. It was good.
It was a lot better than what we've had. Plus, there wasn't a ton of people out there,
which helped
with screaming kids and stuff.
Yes, because a lot of times you get that.
You do,
but it's cool. You get to watch the fireworks over. It's not like you can see the castle or any of the projections or light show
or Tinkerbell Fly.
Yeah, but you can see the fireworks, and it's just a cool way, I think, to experience it. So we'll wrap up kind of the whole camping situation. So we were able to get, obviously through Amy with MEI Travel, we were able to get these tent/pop-up sites for $109.50 a night. You add some taxes and all, right?
Which is pretty cheap.
Which is very cheap. Here's the difference, though, right? Golf cart is $75 a night. All in, campground and golf cart was $191.50 a night, which is still a great price.
Yeah,
but it's not but it's not anything that really comes into the money saving discussion when you look at some of the rates now that we can get as just say pass holders, summer rates. Right. Again, Amy can figure out the best rate for you at an All-Star, for example. So what you're doing here is you're not doing this necessarily to save money. You're doing it for the experience of being at Fort Wilderness.
That's what I was just going to say.
And that is what it is. So, now, if you decided not to get a golf cart, if you were able to bring and just say you had bikes or some other way of getting around, okay, maybe it is a little bit of a money saver. But in reality,
if you bring your own, which I don't know if
you could bring your own golf cart if you're able to. But again, you have to factor in the cost of that.
Right.
We don't bring our golf cart that we own because we'd have to rent a trailer. Well, if a trailer costs us $50 to rent a day, why not pay $25 more? Not have to haul our golf cart 2 hours, not worry about the insurance stuff, like all of that. So This isn't about saving money as much as it is about experiencing Disney in a way that is like nothing else on property.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that a lot. We have stayed here now in every possible way.
Literally.
Yeah. There's really not anything else.
There is not another way to
except
stay.
for, I would say, one of the big drivable RV buses, right?
Okay.
But technically,
I don't think we
have stayed every way possible.
Yeah. I mean, we've driven.
Yeah.
It was a big one, but
yeah,
it was
I mean,
Cruise America.
yes, we have.
It wasn't a bus-like thing,
Yep.
but
that's what you're doing this for. You know,
Yeah.
and I would never, if somebody says to me, you know, hey, is there a way I can do Disney hotel stays a little cheaper? I'm not going to be like, yeah, just go to Fort Wilderness. Without saying, go listen to this episode or sitting down and having a very lengthy conversation.
Because if you were like, hey, would you have rather have taken the $200, basically, we'll round up and say $200 and stayed at an All-Star this weekend.
Sure. But
I would probably say no, because I really enjoyed looping. I really enjoyed hiding some stuff.
Doing the pool.
I mean, we could have done that at All-Star.
Well,
so you got to think about and it really comes down to the looping and then looking at other tents and campers and all the things.
But it's the atmosphere.
And the
it's the people.
And
it's the activities. It's watching the Chippendales campfire sing along and roasting s'mores. And I know you can roast s'mores and watch a movie under the stars at other resorts, but not like this.
Like that. Yeah,
it's the fact that you can go horseback riding for an added cost. You can do archery. You can rent the fishing excursions out of here. Like, this is such a different vibe than anything else. Now, if somebody says, hey, we love camping, we love tent camping, we also love doing the parks from open to close, it might not be the time for that.
Yeah.
You want to work in the time to actually enjoy the campground.
100%.
Or it's probably not worth all the hassle.
Yeah.
So would you do this again? Now we have our new tent set up.
Yes.
Yes. Agreed.
100%.
Yeah. Would you do it again in a summer month? How did you feel about the heat? We have fans throughout the tent.
We do. We had 3, but the one we're going to return, and we need to get another one. And I think maybe with another box fan and with maybe another pop-up table that we like, that same one, but that goes on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it would be okay, because I remember, and I'll never forget, now this was a little over 15 years ago, but my 30th birthday, when we were free, we stayed in a tent.
Yeah, we did.
So in July, my birthday, by the way, y'all, is July 21st.
Yes.
So very close to August. I would try it. But again, I would try it with a box fan. The two box.
Yeah.
I would try it with all the fans.
Yeah. I would. Here's what I think this is perfect for us. This is perfect for us. Most likely. Now, I'd be okay making this a Memorial Weekend tradition for us. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be cool with that. I think, we did 3 nights. It's the longest we've ever done in this situation like this.
Yeah.
At these ages of our lives. We probably back on your 30th. We did it, I think, for more than 3 nights then. But, did I have a wonderful time? Yes. Was I comfortable? Yes. Did I sleep better than I thought I would? Yes. Do I want to do it next weekend? No. Do I want to do it next month? No. Do I want to maybe put a little time in between these? Yeah. I can see this being something that, again, we look more at. First of all, I think a 2-night minimum is a must with the setup that we have.
I agree.
3 nights is ideal. Yeah. Because it is a good amount to set up. It is a good amount to break down, to pack, all of that. I do think that doing it in the months between typically something like October through April, when you have cooler evenings, cooler days even, would definitely help. But I love doing this. There is nothing like it. And, even when you're in that loop with other tent campers or small pop-ups or small RVs, it's just, I don't know. There's something I love so much about this.
Yeah.
And it's the moment that you pull on a property and you hear that banjo music and soundtrack, and it's absolutely the best.
Yeah.
All right. So Friday and Saturday, we had some very specific things we wanted to do, which was to ride a lot of these things that had reopened, right? This included Big Thunder Mountain. This included Space Ranger Spin. We had not gotten to do since it reopened a couple months ago. This included, hopefully, Soarin, which we did get to do and we'll talk about. Again, we already did Rock and Roller Coaster. On May 22nd was the new missions on Smuggler's Run with Mando and Grogu.
Oh, yeah.
So making sure that we could do those, I went ahead and I got Lightning Lane Multipass for Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
What I booked on Friday was making sure that I had, because we're going to go to Magic Kingdom, was making sure that I had Space Ranger Spin and that I had Big Thunder Mountain.
Yes.
Within that, I also picked my third one as Haunted Mansion. So for me, it was that guarantee of let's do these.
Yeah.
Real quick on Lightning Lanes, they work great sometimes. They don't other times. It really depends on how you want to navigate. I think personally, now this day when we started at Magic and we ended up over at EPCOT, what would make more sense here and what I've done in the past is to book your initial Lightning Lanes in early afternoon for your second park. That's what I think works well.
Okay.
And then getting to your first park at rope drop or early. Because we could have done so much at Magic Kingdom that morning without Lightning Lane, but then we would have had a bunch once we got over to EPCOT that by the time we used our morning Lightning Lanes, which we did book at Magic, most of EPCOT things were gone or they were too late. So I've done this in the past where, you go to EPCOT first, you rope drop Cosmic, you ride it as standby. From there, you immediately hit things like Frozen Ever After, Soarin', Remy's. You knock out a lot of stuff before noon, and then you skyline over to just say Hollywood Studios, and you've got like 3 Lightning Lanes lined up at 1, 2, and 3 o'clock or whatever. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that works really, really well. It all depends on your day. Sometimes you might need, we found a very not busy weekend for a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason that was, I don't know. But we did have these Lightning Lanes. But first, before we headed into Magic Kingdom, there was a new item I specifically wanted us to try.
Yes.
Over at Steakhouse 71, which is their breakfast burger. So I had an 8:55 a.m. reservation that we were able to boat over from Fort Wilderness to Magic Kingdom and then walk over.
Yes.
Contemporary has such a wonderful location for Magic Kingdom. Yeah. That walk is not as close as people act like it is. When you got people moaning and groaning about the walk from the Disney Cruise Line ship to the entrance of Lighthouse Point, of Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
Yeah.
I don't know if the distance is the same. This feels longer.
Yeah.
Or at least the same.
Yeah.
So I know that it is walkable from Contemporary over to Magic, and we don't mind doing that walk. But I don't think it's as close as people act like it is. So I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
What's on the breakfast burger, Rhonda? Because we split this.
Yes,
because it's a lot.
We did. Because I don't eat.
We normally don't eat breakfast
normally. And we had a lot going on this day. So, this is 2 pressed patties, pork belly, avocado, egg, and hash brown patties served with fresh fruit. We actually, because they had breakfast potatoes, and I know Jeremy likes those, instead of French fries, I was like, why don't we do that instead of fresh fruit? Yeah. Spoiler alert, I would stick with the fresh fruit. The potatoes were great.
They're great. I love their potatoes there.
They just, once we talk about the burger...
Yeah.
And this burger was $23. She was great and amazing and was like, make sure you pop that egg before you do it, or before you know. And so Jeremy cut it in half and gave me half, and I was very like, I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. I do not want egg on my anything. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't even want it, like steak and eggs. I don't want to eat it together. I don't want to eat eggs with anything but grits. Yeah. That's just the type of person
toast, some grits, like
toast or grits.
You're very old school with your eggs, Southern. And you just want regular breakfast items. Yep. Don't want it on a burger or sandwiches, whatever it may be.
Right.
With that being said, what did you think of this?
This was absolutely shockingly amazing.
Oh my goodness.
With everything going on, the avocado, the hash brown patty, the 2 pressed patties, the egg, like it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought there's a lot going on here. And it is a big thing. Like, this is one you got to like unhinge your jaw, right? Or do the hunch if you're a Guy Fieri fan and you watch Triple D. It is huge. It works so well together. This is literally a hash brown patty sitting on the bottom bun, which does a really good job as a barrier from all the egg yolk that's going to run down from the juiciness of the patties, of keeping that bottom bun not turning into a big soggy mess.
Yep.
I love a runny yolk on something like this. I think it's so good. The avocado is a nice balance against all of the other flavors I think that are going on. My only thing is I didn't taste pork belly, but I think the pork belly and the fattiness from it just mixed so well with the egg and the avocado that it was just one nice big combined flavor. And what Ron and I kept saying, which I think Steakhouse 71 does so well with their burgers, is pork belly, avocado, egg, a hash brown, the bun. You still taste the burger.
Yeah. And
you taste that it is a good, delicious, griddled burger. It doesn't lose that flavor and it doesn't lose sight because it's still the star of the show. Yep. And that doesn't happen a lot when you get things that have this much stuff on it. In the end, you're like, I forgot there was a burger patty in there. So it is outstanding. If you like burgers, if you like their regular lunch burger, or you can get it at dinner if you sit up at the bar, go here. Yep. I gotta say, I can go back and forth now. While Lulu Burger, Steakhouse 71, lunch dinner burger, or this burger are top three. This one might sit at third. But man, I don't know. It could almost move up. It's so good. So make a reservation and go get this thing. It's a great way. I would definitely split it if you're about to go do everything we did for the rest of the day.
100%.
So we got into Magic Kingdom and we're looking at wait times. It was pretty dead. So we went over and 10-minute wait. I mean, as close to a walk-on as you can get for Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
So we went over, did that. Then we had the lightning lanes for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. Mm-hmm. So we got to go over and do that first time since it reopened. Yep. We've got the new targets. We've got the new laser guns, new ride vehicles. What were your thoughts? This is a ride that we skipped time and time and time again in the past.
It was just stupid
because it wasn't good. No, it was frustrating. It was annoying. Yeah. It got to a point where riding the old one, we would do it because maybe we had friends or something with us that hadn't, and I would just sit in it and just be like, "Oh, this is cool scenery," but this gameplay is not fun because nobody knows where they're shooting, and this gun is attached. It's no longer attached. Mm-hmm. You know exactly where you're shooting. Well, with a cable. It's much like Disneyland's version.
Right. You can pull it out and you have more of
you have flexibility.
Flexibility. Yeah. I told you I was going to say it. Well done, Disney. Yeah. They killed it. Killed it.
Yes.
The one thing I am sad about, you do have to hit, because there's a laser and like you can see where you're shooting for one. You do have to hit the center. Like if you center
like dead
circle,
center. Yeah, you got to be pretty
bullseye.
Accurate with it. Yeah,
you can't hit the big giant.
Right.
I thought for one you could.
No,
but you can't.
No,
which
is
stupid.
You cannot, Rhonda. I don't think so.
I kind of think it's a little stupid, but I mean, I guess again you have that pointer laser, so you know where you're shooting. Yep. But yeah, it is a ride now that I will want to ride and play every single time.
Yeah, it added rewritability, because
it's fun.
We had a blast doing it. Yep. And the targets light up, they spin, you can get bonus points if you continually hit that target. Each vehicle, and again, the vehicles are all brand new, will have a red gun and a green gun. Mm-hmm. They both have their corresponding laser lights. Now, there's a lot of other green and red lasers happening from the other vehicles, but it is so much easier to pinpoint which one is yours and keep an eye on it. And the aiming is great. Yep. I love the targets. I thought it was outstanding. I love the part now, when you go through that tunnel, that's a screen.
Yeah, that was
I don't even know if it used to do anything in the old ride, honestly. It 100% does now. It's so good. Yes. I love this. Disney absolutely crushed it. Hopped on the People Mover from there because it was a walk-on. And then we did our Lightning Lane over at Haunted Mansion. As this is where, as soon as Buzz Lightyear was over and I could book another Lightning Lane, I went ahead and booked Pirates, right? Nice. And just thought, all right, I'm going to see what I can get. But after that, I started stacking some in the afternoon over at EPCOT. There wasn't a lot of availability, but I was able to grab, for example, Nemo, Living with the Land, just stuff that we thought we could go over and do. So we did Pirates of the Caribbean, and then it felt like it had been a while. And after being on the Disney Destiny and seeing the Haunted Mansion parlor and how much we love it, and going to Cask and Cannon, I had to go ahead and get us a Beak and Barrel. So we had a Beak and Barrel reservation at, I believe it was like 12:15. I was able, this is why you always check the app and you modify. Not only with lightning lanes, but with dining reservations, because I was able to modify this a few times until I got it to the point I want at 12:15. I think that anytime you're going to do Beak and Barrel, you have to go ride Pirates first.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Pirates now most of the time is not seeing much of wait times, so just time it out, go do it. If you have a lightning lane, grab it. But there's nothing like stepping off Pirates and then basically almost walking next door, putting your name in, or telling them, checking in with your reservation, and then getting called into this Pirates-driven bar. Mm-hmm. There is a new beverage there on the non-alcoholic menu. It is the South Sea Splash. It's very, very simple, but it was a real good addition, I think. It's a tropical infusion of Sprite, pineapple, mango, and guava for $7. A regular soda there, like Rhonda got a Diet Coke, is $5. Mm-hmm. So for $2 extra, they're going to throw some pineapple, mango, and guava in it. Yeah. I like it because the other two non-alcoholic beverages, while they're good, one is basically a cookies and cream milk, and the other one comes with a dessert platter. Yeah. And so you don't want all that all the time.
Correct.
We got a little bite to eat because at this point it had been a few hours since we had split that burger.
And the corn griddle cakes with Chipotle braised chicken is one of the best things in Magic Kingdom, in my opinion. Yeah.
In any of the parks, I think.
Well, I mean, Animal Kingdom's got the oranges, which are so good.
Miles, we actually got to stand at the bar this time, which we had never done. Miles was our server. Yep. He was excellent. And he was, what did he say? 3,500 to 4,500 people a day they serve there.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
Which is insane.
He was asking, the guy was asking about there's no free pours. It's all like already mixed.
Yeah, it's all pre-mixed.
And so that's what he
just like Oga's.
Yeah, and that's what he was asking about.
And Miles told him why, which we know. When you're serving 3,500 to 4,500 people a day, you can't hand mix every single drink.
And he did say there was actually 4th or 5th or whatever number bartender in the back mixing all of this and just so
they're making these, basically said, in giant like buckets full. So it's not like they're purchasing a pre-mixed beverage off of a shelf from a food distributor. They are mixing the drinks. They're just not doing it to order.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And look, we spend a lot of time drinking at Disney.
Yeah.
Most drinks are measured very, very accurately anyway.
Period.
You know what I mean? Yep. So I don't think you're losing anything from these. And half the time they will even tell you, by the way, this is our most potent drink here.
100%.
You know what I mean? So, but I love those griddle cakes. They're so good.
So good.
So after that, we went over to do Big Thunder, which reopened recently.
Yeah.
Completely retracked. There are some new story elements and show elements. What did you think of the redone Big Thunder Mountain?
Well, first of all, it was so smooth.
It is. I can't believe how smooth it is.
Yeah, it's great.
It's outstanding. Padded seats in the cars, which was great. So you're not moving around as much as you were, but it's such a comfortable ride now, which it never was.
Yeah.
Not only because it was so jerky,
but
the fact that you were just sitting on these hard seats.
Yeah. It was great. I was trying to look around. It was kind of hard, to be honest, because you're flying, it's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
And it still is. It still is the wildest ride in the wilderness.
It is. I was looking forward and hoping the end would basically be like Disneyland, where they, like they go and it starts fizzing, I feel like, on the side like a light, and then it blows up and whatnot. I was hoping it would be that. It's not. It's basically like it's already done that, and we found the mother lode of gold, and really cool. So I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a great track, and I'm not like, oh man, I wish that it was more like Disneyland. It's a great ride in Disneyland. It's just like Haunted Mansion now. You have one over here and one over here, and you just want to ride both. Now, if they could retrack Space Mountain.
Oh yeah, I wish.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be better. Yeah, I think it took a long. It was down for a long time because of the retracking.
Yeah.
So it almost is a little disappointing because you know that it was down for like a year and a half, and the show elements, in my opinion, aren't that great. Like I think Disneyland's are so much better. And I'm not saying we need a copy of what they have over there with the ending, but theirs is a better ending.
Well.
So, I mean, that's all. But it is a nice, smooth ride. I'm so glad it's back. It is one that I'll want to do more now because of how smooth it is. This is one that I could do a couple times in a day if, it presented itself, where could not do that before.
Yeah.
So I think they did a really good job with all of that. And it is cool at the end. In the beginning, there's some explosion pieces and some lighting in the caverns and all. But, I just think Disneyland's is far superior. So... oh, well. All right. From here, we headed on over to Epcot, mostly because we wanted to get our pass holder magnet.
Oh, yeah.
But we did find out that Soarin' Across America was going through a soft opening. It was not listed anywhere in My Disney Experience, so you couldn't look at wait times. There was no word on the street. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're walking around and you hear someone go, oh, hey, Soarin's open. Go. Mm-hmm. You just happen to go over there and notice it was open.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a big to-do about it. So we went over and, first on the way there, we did Nemo because we had our lightning lane for that one. And then I continued to just add ones. I was able to add a Spaceship Earth. I was able to add a test track. Those came later in the day. I couldn't get them early enough before we wanted to leave. So we kind of just burned Spaceship Earth and test track and didn't use them. But we certainly could have. But all of the big dogs, of course, were gone. Remy's and Frozen and stuff like that.
Right.
Soarin', so we did Nemo, and then we went over to do Soarin' Across America. It was only at a 25-minute wait. We probably waited that or less. Talk about Soarin' Across America, which is here for a limited time to celebrate the 250th of America.
I really liked it. I really liked it in the very beginning. Well, first of all, we talked to Sean, and he was like, there's no transitions. And in the very beginning, when I was watching it, and I was thinking, okay, that's just going to be just like Soarin' over California.
Right.
It's just going to transition without, it's fine. I've seen that in California. Cool. No problem. But in the very beginning, there were some where I was like, they were slight. They weren't like major, like in the regular Soarin'. But I was like, there are some. So I was confused. And then it's like they were, and then they were like, all right, we're done.
We got lazy.
Yeah. And then they stopped completely, which again, I don't think I care and miss as much as you do. I love the smells. I'm glad those were still all there.
That part's great.
I personally just really love seeing all this stuff. So what?
What's? I didn't know that was the end of your. I'm confused. All the
done.
stuff. What stuff?
Just all the pictures. All the places.
All the places.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I got you. I love that Patrick Warburton is back to introduce this update, and then he kicks it off to a young, handsome man.
That was cool.
Which is the old clips of him and the Nice Work Pal and all. I did enjoy that. I need. You know what? I'm going to say what I'm going to say, having only done it once and with limited. That's all the knowledge I have of it. It's not like I've gone back and, again, researched a bunch about it or looked at all the scenes or looked at the list of them or watched a ride through on YouTube. So I'm going off this one.
We
right?
ride it again and they'll go, oh, that was not.
Of course. And we'll try and ride it again when we're there. We pop into Epcot next weekend.
Yep.
So we can come back and talk more. It seems a bit like a mess to me. First of all, the pacing is super weird.
Okay.
Here's my two biggest gripes with California. Actually, three, and one of them is all me. One gripe is no transitions. I don't like just a screen cut. I don't like just, hey, we're flying over orange groves. There's a mountain. Like you're just, there it is, right? I want a bird to fly in my face. I want an elephant to throw dirt at me. I want a biplane to fly up in Sydney Harbor and scare me so much that I, almost wet my pants. That's what I want for transitions. Okay. Right? I think they build momentum into the next scene. And I think when you do these quick cuts, it just doesn't build it. Right? So that's one of my issues with California. Another issue is that, in my opinion, California is too fast paced. It is so quick. There's so many scenes. They're like, we got to shove all of what California has to offer in a minute and a half or whatever it may be, 2 minutes. And some of the scenes just aren't long enough. Right?
Yeah.
The third is, I just don't know California. I don't have any love or whatever for California. That's on me.
Right.
Right? I don't know the places that it's showing most of the time. It is a wonderful, I think, marketing item for tourism in California, because California looks absolutely beautiful, and why wouldn't you want to go visit it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of those same issues for me personally apply to across America. The pacing is weird. Some scenes, I swear we were on for 5 seconds. Others, it felt like we were on for 30 seconds, right? Okay. You have some transitions, like you said. Mm-hmm. I think there was a transition with a bird. Then other times it's just straight cuts.
Right.
It just didn't give the build for me. It wasn't climatic. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me personally. I know the places because they're all over America. They're very well-known places, everything from New York to Hollywood. Right. So I know them. So for me, I would rank it as Around the World is still my favorite. My second favorite would be America, and my third is California.
Okay.
Which everybody will hate that I said that, because everybody loves California, but that's my thoughts. I do want to ride it again and see.
Yeah.
All that being said, well done, Disney. You didn't have to do this at all.
Yeah.
You could have just...
I love the fireworks at the end.
Oh,
they're all
fireworks.
America.
They have a big flag fireworks. They've got
red, white, and blue.
So again, they did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Because I don't personally love it as much as another version of it, doesn't mean they didn't absolutely crush it. And a lot of people are loving this, and that's what truly matters. And again, they didn't have to do this. Correct. They could have simply said, okay, we're just going to keep on going around the world. We don't have to do anything special here for the 250th. So I'm really glad that they did. We got our pass holder magnet with Woody and Buzz. Absolutely love it, of course. And then we headed back to Fort Wilderness in the latest afternoon, and we went back to the pool because we were pretty tired from that day. So we wanted to relax.
Yep.
And then what did we end up doing for dinner?
Well, we went to Trails Inn because
we didn't know what to do for dinner.
We didn't, and we were trying to figure it out. And with everything going to take so long, and we were so tired, we just wanted to stay around the campground, and we didn't bring anything to cook or grill. So we just went, and we went over to try to mobile order. And you can't mobile order a piece of pizza.
Right, just a whole pizza.
Just a whole pizza, which was super weird. But they did have the roasted jalapeno cheddar chicken strips that they're doing like across the properties. Served with the choice of side, of course. I got fries. And I've enjoyed some of it, so I went ahead and I was like, I want some chicken strips, and this sounds really good.
Yep.
They're $10.99 usually for the chicken strip tender.
Yeah,
and
I think
they're
so.
only adding
$2.
$2.
Yeah.
So it's $12.99. These were fantastic. There's 4 of them. I loved these. I would get them again.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's like so it's your standard chicken tenders. They toss them in a light kind of cheese queso sauce. They then melt cheddar cheese on top, and then they have crispy fried thin sliced jalapenos on top of those. I think, now I haven't had as many of these chicken strip incarnations through property that you have, because you and John went and tried a couple one day. This is the best one that I've had.
It was really
out of
good.
A couple that I have. I thought it was really good. I agree. I would get it again. They also had the Smokehouse pizza, which is special there. It is your standard Disney resort pizza, but this one comes with house smoked brisket, sausage, and pepperoni. I got no problems with Disney resort pizza. Again, it's not one of those where you're like, I'm craving pizza, and this is just as good as getting Pizza Ponte or something. It's not, but it does what it needs to do. Trails Inn is a mess, man. It is just hectic and it's confusing. And sometimes you order from this person and then sometimes you go over to this station. Sometimes you can grab food that's ready. Sometimes you can't. You know,
Shane was a wonderful
Shane was amazing.
Cast
Was a cast member that was checking house there that we were ordering with.
Yep.
It's just a mess. Like when you go, if you have visited, and again, this might just be us or me, when you visited every other quick service spot on property,
I agree
that all
with
have
that.
a similar formula.
Yeah.
And then this one just goes, you know what? That works really well. Let's throw it out the window.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, once you just, and again, it's not a big deal. It's just weird. I just don't know why it is set up this way.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our Saturday. I went ahead because I got up and got another virtual queue so we could check out some more of Rock and Roller Coaster. This time we got Rock Till You Drop. This is by the Electric Mayhem. It features Def Leppard.
Yep.
It was a good song to go with it, I think.
It was cute.
You know,
I mean, I was expecting like, like the Born to Be Wild to actually like be able to sing, but
right. I honestly don't know this
song.
song.
But
yeah,
it's
not
fine.
familiar
It's
with
fine.
it from Def Leppard.
It's fine.
I forgot to say earlier, one of my biggest gripes at the end of Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith is that you could barely hear the songs anymore, the speakers and all. Now, I don't know if they replaced them, if they just fixed them. It's good. It's not as loud as like a Cosmic Rewind or what Rip Ride Rocket did, but you can actually hear and make out the song.
Yeah.
And it was almost to the point that you couldn't anymore. So again, good job there. Right outside of there, and you could only access this at the moment until it officially opens on May 26, is the new food by Swedish chef, little truck, mobile truck. It used to be there, and it was just a rock theme, and they had some things, some different foods there. They've added a few things from Swedish chef. For one reason, one of those is not Swedish meatballs, which just seems like it would have been a no-brainer.
Or a Swedish fish.
Yeah, Swedish fish. One of the things they do have is Waka Walking nachos, which are basically a walking taco. It is a bag of Frito corn chips. It is topped with queso, tomatoes, and one other thing I don't have in front of me.
Did you say guacamole?
Maybe
you
guacamole.
Said something about.
So a lot of people are getting that. What we decided to go for, they have a sweet dessert. They have corn dogs, things like that there, but it's a churro drumstick.
Well, and after this, we were going to go ride Tower of Terror, and
Yes,
I was
we were.
not
We didn't want to
eating
eat too much.
Tacos.
Yeah. So churro drumstick, don't let drumstick fool you. Remember, this is a music-themed spot.
Yes.
It's a drumstick like you would play the drums with.
Yes.
Not a drumstick like comes off of a chicken or turkey
Yes,
leg,
because
right?
that's what I was thinking.
So what is this, though?
It is a twisted churro tossed in mixed berry sugar, topped with raspberry sauce and assorted sprinkles, served with chocolate sauce.
Sometimes.
Which we did not get ours for $7.99.
I forgot about it.
Which is fine. It's fine. It was really good, and good job, Disney. But dang, why can't you have these?
Why is this churro really good
Right.
and tender and crunchy on the outside, tender on the inside? It's twisted, like a larger twist than a regular kind of churro, if that makes sense.
Well, let's be fair. When's the last time we had a real?
I mean, we get them once a year. We've done it for a decade, and they're never good.
Okay, maybe they're.
But
good
I liked
again.
this one.
This was really good.
According to John, a lot of the folks were not loving some of these things. I thought this was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
It is very.
Really good. I'd get it again.
Yeah, I would too. It's very
100%.
berry.
Yeah.
Like very berry.
Yeah.
But if they just sold this exact same thing, but with cinnamon sugar instead throughout the parks, you would have a good churro.
100%.
A good park churro. We also got the pink limonade for $6.49. Minute Maid Premium Lemonade in guava made glamorous with a sprinkle of pink shimmer.
Yeah.
That's exactly
good.
what it sounds like.
Yep,
yeah,
it
it's a
was really
nice,
good.
fresh drink, refreshing drink, lemonade, a little bit of that guava. I guess they got a sale on guava because that's also what's in that Sprite over at Beak and Barrel. So we did Tower of Terror with several folks that have never done it before, which is always fun.
Yeah.
We did not know them, but it is so much fun watching people enjoy it for the first time. That was a lightning lane. Then we went over and did Star Tours as a walk-on. I got a lightning lane immediately, and it was still a walk-on, whether you did it or not.
Correct.
We also had Toy Story Mania lightning lane, Toy Story Mania, Space Ranger Spin.
They do need to update after Toy Story, after Space Ranger Spin. They do need to update Toy Story Mania, but I still love Mania.
Would you? Okay, I think obviously the screens and technology could be updated. I think it's still pretty dang good for how old that ride is.
Yeah.
Would you rather see a similar shooting situation where you maybe have, maybe not the pull string thing, but maybe a gun or something instead, and that would be an update? Right now, in your opinion, which do you prefer?
Toy Story Mania or Story Mania.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide. I wanted to give it to Space Ranger spin, but Toy Story Mania is so fun. Mm-hmm. It really, really is. So I think I'll still give the edge there. All right, next up, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. All new. You got Grogu, you got Mando. There's actually a point the engineers have a little bit of more of a role where after some initial scenery, they get to pick 3 of different missions. They're Death Star, Indoor, and I cannot remember the third one off the top of my head.
We got Death Star.
Yeah, our engineers in our group picked the Death Star. What did you think of the overall upgrades here? We were the pilots.
First of all, I didn't like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was fine. It's not something that they've changed it well enough where I'm like, oh, can we go ride
Really?
that?
Okay.
I would like to be something else, though. I would like to ride it again and be like the engineers or the gunners.
Yep.
I don't want to be the pilots because there's just so much going on that even period where I don't feel like enjoy it. Whereas like
you're so focused on making sure you don't crash this thing. Yeah. You miss a lot. I agree. You miss a lot of what's going on.
Because especially like when there's other people in there, like I'm just trying to do a good job.
Right. And especially when you don't know those people, you know that you have the possibility of hindering their entire experience. And chances are possible that those people don't get to do it all the time like we would.
Right.
Much like, Soarin and me going through and only having this one ride of it. This is my only ride of this so far. We'll do it more, come back with opinions. First of all, it is added re-rideability because not only do you have 3 different positions, right?
Correct.
You still, even in the old one, it is different whether you're pilot, your gunner, or your engineer.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 missions. So now you're talking 3 different positions, 3 different missions. And with each, having live reactive timing, they can still change as well. There's a special Grogu version that the engineer can call up if you know the tricks and all. So I think it has a ton of rewritability for that. I thought personally, as much as I don't want to pilot for all the reasons you said, it felt smoother and a little easier to control than it used to.
Okay.
Like for me, it used to, you went up a little bit and that thing went down like it was dropping off a cliff. Like it didn't seem as touchy.
Okay.
It seemed a little bit smoother, a little bit easier to control. And I actually thought we flew it pretty well together.
I thought
we did pretty good.
I thought so too.
The scenery is amazing. Having Mando's cool. There's little interactions that Grogu comes on that are adorable. In the end, I missed the excitement of the old one. It felt very anticlimactic. It felt very rushed. Now, again, all of this might be because we were the pilots.
Right.
And we're so focused that we missed out a lot.
Right.
I liked the old version because it was so hectic. It was everybody screaming and yelling at each other. And there was a big climatic finish. To me, this just didn't have it. Yeah. All of a sudden, Mando was like, all right, we got him. Let's go. And you're like, oh, we're done? We're on Batuu again. So we will need additional rides of this to formulate, obviously, more of an opinion. Mm-hmm. But again, Disney did a great job. Now, I think this is what the ride should have been from day one.
Yeah.
It should have had multiple missions, and it should have been more like this. But I thought they did an outstanding job overall. We did a bunch of rides. Let's see. This is our last. That's our last new ride, right? That we did. Yeah. So before we finish this out, between Big Thunder, Space Ranger Spin, Soarin, Rock and Roller Coaster, and Smuggler's Run, what was your favorite of our new 3 themed rides?
I'm actually going to say Space Ranger Spin.
I will too. What was your least favorite?
This one.
This one? Okay. I'd probably say Soarin, but I can agree with you there.
I would say this one.
Yeah.
But again, we were pilots. So again, this was one ride, folks.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll come back and we'll give you additional opinions. Another new food item, a couple of them that we wanted to try. We did a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, of this.
It's over at Baseline Tap House. Mm-hmm. It is their pepperoni flatbread for $17. This is mozzarella and pepperoni topped with ricotta and a hot honey. Mm-hmm. This has not had very overwhelming reviews from a lot of folks on social. We thought we'd give it ourselves a test. What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. $17 for 6 pieces. And they were cut weird where I had a small piece.
Well, it's a flatbread, so it's odd shaped. It's kind of oval, but
I
not.
had a small piece.
Yeah.
You had a larger piece. Then I was like, well, I'm going to take a larger piece this time. You get the smaller piece. And then in the end, the last 2 pieces seemed pretty even.
Yeah.
It was good. It was, the ricotta was very creamy and very, to me, I don't know. I almost want to use the word too creamy, but I did like it. I think it was weird. It didn't taste like ricotta. I think because of the honey and stuff. But it was still good where I would split it with you again. Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think I would go in and be like, oh my God, I want my own. I would rather, honestly, if you were like this or, excuse me, the one at Pizza Ponte, I'd be like Pizza Ponte. That to me is more of a ricotta.
Okay.
This is, I don't know what to say what it is, but
okay. All right. I thought we had a very different conversation when we were sitting there eating it because I absolutely loved it.
Because I think you loved it and I just was like, oh, okay.
You didn't want to hurt. I didn't make it. You know, you couldn't. You weren't going to hurt my feelings.
But I think, I don't know. I just, and again, it took a minute. Like,
yeah.
You loved it so much that I was like, wait, do I like it?
Yeah.
And then I was
sense.
like, all right. And then I was like letting it marinate basically because I did eat 3 solid pieces. And to come back from it now. And I mean, we did talk about the steak puff pastry. And I'm very sad that it's gone. And if they brought that back and took this pizza away, I'd be A-okay with that.
I really loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
So I don't love ricotta on pizza. I think it is overpowering and it's too much. I haven't enjoyed the one lately at Pizza Ponte. When we've gotten it a couple times at Mellow Mushroom, it's just too much. It overpowers for me. So maybe that's why I loved this one so much because it was light. It was creamy. I thought the honey added a nice sweetness and balance with the savory pepperoni and it cut some of that saltiness. I did not get any hot from it, which I'm okay with because I don't love hot honey. So I really enjoyed this. I think $17 is a lot. We both decided, it's kind of that John Self thing, $15.
Yeah.
And this is perfectly priced for what you get.
Yep.
But I would go back and get this. And I could see us being at Hollywood and being like, I don't really know what to eat for lunch. And I would just be like, well, I'm going to stop in there and get this. And then maybe you get something else from somewhere else and we just grab. But I would eat the whole thing. I really, really enjoyed it. We were walking past the milk stand over in Galaxy's Edge and you pointed out.
Well, I saw a lady walk by it.
Okay, so a lady walked by. We saw it on the menu. I was not aware of these. This is a limited time offering. It is the Kirk Odeon Blue Cake. It is spiced vanilla shortbread cookie with ginger cream cheese icing for $5.29. They also have this Tanu Swirl Crunchy cereal. It's a drink. It's topped with raspberry jelly. It's blue milk topped with raspberry jelly and mini rainbow crunchy candies. They're nerds for $10.79. How did you feel about the blue cake?
Well, first, make sure you do have something to drink, whether it be water, whether it be a milk.
Yeah.
They do have pink milk we were going to try, but because they had the new swirled crunchies and I already love the blue milk, I was very excited about this one and I was like, let's get this one. I really liked the blue cake. I loved it. It says a spiced vanilla shortbread cookie. It does taste and eats more like a cake than it does a cookie.
Yep.
And the cream cheese icing is really good. You can actually, if you need to, get a knife and kind of spread it out, and that would probably be really good.
I wish it had a little bit more of it because it was that good.
It was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. I would get this again for sure.
Yeah. This reminded me of something because of the flavors of the vanilla shortbread and the ginger cream cheese. This to me tasted like something that would be available during Jollywood nights because it tasted very much like the holidays to me. But I would definitely get it again. $5.29 I think is a pretty good price for this.
100%.
As much as I liked the Tinu Swirl Crunchy cereal beverage, $10.79. I don't think I realized. That seems like a lot.
I don't think I realized either.
I think that I don't know what the price of a regular blue milk is. We don't have a full menu in front of us. This seemed a little expensive, but it was very good. I loved it.
Really good.
I love the surprise of the nerds in it.
Yep.
Like they give you a awful paper straw, which you cannot use because nerds will immediately get stuck in it. I kind of wish they had a boba straw. But what happens is a lot of the
nerd
or a spoon, but a lot of the nerds get stuck in this raspberry jelly that is swirled throughout it. And so you're basically drinking the blue milk with a little bit of that flavor from those off top. And then at the end, you get stuck with this like raspberry jammy nerd kind of cluster that I actually really enjoyed. I would get this again. I would just feel bad every time about paying $10.79 for it because I think that's way too much.
Yeah.
This is another one. Make it $8.79 and like sold every time. So we headed back and after all of this, and we did the pool again because this was kind of our midday summertime way to cool down and relax. And then we headed over to Disney Springs because we were planning on having a meetup on the front porch at House of Blues at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Until we started seeing weather alerts on the ride over.
It looked a little dark. We were on a bus and it looked a little dark. And I looked and before we left, this is why I said earlier in the episode to note to self, just make sure everything was closed up. Because Jeremy said something about, we can bring down the side, what are the
windows or whatever you want to call it, and have the screen to cool out the area a little bit with the breeze.
So I was like, all right. So I did. And on the way over there, I was like, what the heck? Is it dark out or is it just the bus? And I look and there is 100% chance of rain, give or take from between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. And at this point, we couldn't guarantee if we hung around that we would be back or we'd make it back in time to get everything. And we have electronics. We had so much in there. And I did spend a little bit more money on the brand for the tent because it did say wind, water, like proof and like fire, even fireproof, I think. I don't know. Anyway,
no way it's fireproof.
The point is I felt pretty good if it would have been zipped up completely.
Yes.
I did not feel good because I was like, oh my God, this could be a disaster.
Yeah. Plus, we had a few things sitting out on the picnic table. We had our little awning up. We had our chairs set up. Yep. So we had to make kind of a gut last minute decision to say, you know what, we need to, two reasons. One, the front porch is outside. And if this storm had come through at 6 p.m., it was going to do us no good.
Correct.
Two, we just could not afford to have anything, all the inside of this tent, the vehicle, whatever, get wet. So we just made a decision to postpone it.
We sat at Summer House.
Yeah. Made a decision.
Made a decision.
Yep.
Bought 2 banana Thai, wild Thai banana
cookies from Summer House. Yeah.
And then we went straight back to our campground site.
So we went back. We got everything secured. And then around 7 or so, the weather had not hit yet, but it was still looming. So we decided just to shoot over to Magic Kingdom for the evening because we had everything secured, zipped up. We felt good about it. We folded our chairs up, all that. So we headed over there. I had, in case earlier, just picked up lightning lanes after our morning at Hollywood because you can.
Yes.
And I thought, hey, even after the meetup, if we had it, we were maybe going to shoot over there before their 10 o'clock closing.
Correct.
So I picked up Jungle Cruise, Pirates, Peter Pan Flight. Haunted Mansion was a walk-on. We did our lightning lanes, our 3 lightning lanes. We did Space Mountain, which was a walk-on.
Yeah.
They need that. Yeah, like you said, talk about retracking. Let's just close that thing for 2 years, whatever it takes.
Yep.
Retrack it.
Yep.
Make it good.
100%.
Again. And then we were able to do TRON at the end of the night.
At this point,
it was starting to rain.
It started. Yeah. Well, it actually started lightning, where lightning across the sky, like just crazy, where people were taking pictures. They canceled the electric
Starlight.
Yep. And when we were in line for actually the ice cream, we went to the ice cream parlor, and got ice cream sandwiches, which we should have got one.
Yeah,
but we
sandwiches
got 2.
is in 2, and you only need one. Split it however you can.
It's only $7.49.
Yeah, so it really isn't.
Which I mean,
I ate my whole
ate
one.
his. I ate half. And then once we left there, now that's when it started to sprinkle and kind of rain. But we were trying to get over to our Peter Pan's Flight lightning lane, in which we would have just sat. But that's learning all of this. But we ran over there, and then it started to rain and the lightning again has been across the sky the entire time, by the way. not major thunder, which was really weird, but it did come. And then they canceled, I guess, happily ever after because it did cut off at 10.
Yeah.
Like they closed the park. So we did get to go ride TRON at the end, which was super awesome.
Posted at 50, took us 25.
Yep. But on the way back, riding in the rain,
on the boat,
but inside, of course. And we did have ponchos. I did grab those. Jeremy did not use his. I did use mine because I just did not want to be wet. They do have to, and we've said this before, they do have to set the fireworks off.
Mm-hmm.
So they were setting them off, and then it was really cool because we got back. So we got to watch them all the way back. We got back, and then we were on the beach, and so obviously they were just setting them off because there was no music, no nothing.
But it was pretty. It
was really cool.
It was such a perfect ending.
It was.
We're going to talk about one more thing, which was the true ending to the weekend. But this was the original ending to our entire weekend, which, for us, we hadn't been in the parks in a little bit. Mm-hmm. We hadn't been in the parks for multiple nights in quite some time. We were doing all this stuff. We had such an incredible weekend. And it was like this amazing send-off to watch the fireworks, which we didn't think we'd see any of, behind us in the boat as we went back.
Right.
And it was absolutely amazing. It then proceeded, by the time we got into our little tent and inside our vehicle sleeping, to have some of the most horrific thunder and lightning and rain that I have seen in some time, from about 11 p.m. to probably 3 a.m.
Yeah,
it was
really bad.
Awful. We were very thankful that we didn't only have the tent, but we had a hard-topped vehicle that we were sleeping in. So that was interesting.
I started praying because I was like, at one point, the lightning, I was like, that hit something.
Oh, and it was on top of us. It
sounded like a tree.
Like, it really did, yeah.
I don't know where it hit.
Yeah.
But I was like, and I knew there was trees, so I was like, Lord, please don't let a tree hit us.
Yes.
And like keep us just
safe. It was crazy.
It was scary.
Yeah.
But with all that rain and with everything, I will say, the tent did completely
stay dry inside.
Stay dry.
Did everything it needed to. Yep.
It was great.
Had to pack up this morning. Things are a little wet, so they're airing out in our garage right now. But we didn't know what to do for breakfast, so I said, hey, let's just head over to Springs. And where did we go?
We went to Homecomin. I was very excited. We were going to
we got there basically around opening, a little bit after.
And I think we were just going to let the fate decide.
Yeah.
If they would have been like, sorry, we can't accommodate you,
we'd have picked something else.
We'd have gone somewhere else. But yeah, and it was so funny because my favorite food breakfast lately is a sausage patty and a biscuit, and that's it. I get this at Roosevelt Room. I think, unfortunately, McDonald's turned me on to it when they did
That is unfortunate.
Well, they did the thing where they were like pancake patties, basically.
Yeah, the McGriddles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
which are actually pretty delicious.
It is.
They really are.
A long time ago, it was a sausage McGriddle, and I was like, "What is this? Like, basically a biscuit and sausage?" And I was like, "All right,
it's a pancake and sausage. It's a very different overall breakfast.
Okay, it's still man.
Biscuits are delicious. Sausage is delicious.
It was fantastic.
And there's nothing more classic than a sausage biscuit.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. Anyways, the point is I asked the lady.
The point is they don't have this.
Right. And I said, can I kind of she's like, any questions? Like, I actually kind of have a question. I would like this. Can I get a biscuit and a sausage? And she was like, let me check and because something about they make their sausage and
well, we know that they basically scratch make every single thing at Homecomin. There is sausage patty is only included in one menu item, and that's their big breakfast sandwich. So because of that, they don't make up a whole bunch of them.
Right.
It's not like it's included in 8 different dishes and they need tons of them. You know, you got to think. On a normal brunch, how many people order that one exact item, which needs a sausage patty? So that's kind of where she had to go back and just make sure that they could pull this off, I guess.
And to see how much it'd charge, because Jeremy was like, "You're not paying $22."
Yeah, you could have. They could have been like, "Well, we got to do the breakfast sandwich and just remove everything." So therefore, you're getting a $22 sausage and a biscuit.
Which I was like, yeah, I'll figure something out. So she comes back and says, all right, so basically we can do that, but it's going to be your junior farmer plate, which is any 2 eggs, any style with fresh fruit and your choice of a side item for $13. So she just did the biscuit and sausage. And then there was only one patty on this giant biscuit, which is fine. And then I did a side of grits. And no extra. It was $13.
Yeah, it came out, it was $13.
It was great.
It's not often that you customize and do all this stuff like this, and you get charged the least of anything on the menu. So I thought that was amazing.
It was.
I was going back and forth because I wanted one of their breakfast items, but I knew how heavy it was going to be and that I probably would have ate it all, and then I had to sit in a car for 2 hours. So during brunch on the weekends, you can still get their lunch menu. So I got their Country Club, which I've never had. It's grilled chicken topped with white cheddar, pecan smoked bacon, red jalapeno jelly, lettuce, and tomato on a brioche bun. $22. Normally comes with their house-made barbecue chips, drizzled with their icebox dressing. Now, on sides for brunch, they have these Southern-style cheesy potatoes. So I said, can I get those instead of the chips? She said, yes. It was only a $2 upcharge.
Nice.
Normally, those cheesy potatoes are $10.
Oh, wow.
So a $2 upcharge I thought was actually really good, considering it's just taking over chips, right?
Yep.
This was a really good chicken sandwich. Here's what I was saying to Rhonda. When you go to Homecomin, don't get anything that is remotely healthier than most of the things on their menu.
Yeah.
It's still going to be good, but it's not going to blow your socks off. To me, this tasted like a chicken sandwich I could get most anywhere, and it was done very well, and I very much enjoyed it. The chicken was cooked perfectly. I found, and this can happen with sandwiches, I feel like as things shift, the first couple bites, it just kind of tasted like chicken and bread. Once I got more into it, I could taste the bacon and the cheddar and the jelly. So I really did enjoy it. But if you're going to Homecomin, get something fried. You know, get something covered in pimento cheese. Like, get something with a cheesy drop biscuit. Just do it.
And I will say, going back to mine, I forgot to say this. It was really cool because it was really good, and you could totally taste it was 100% scratch made.
Yeah, it looked scratch made.
It did. And
it's the ugliest sausage patty I've ever seen, which tells you it's scratch made.
And it was super funny because I asked Jeremy, like, when I took the first bite, like, it was very, what's the right, tender? Like, I don't want to say moist, but just where I looked at him and I was like, is this done? And he was like, well, it's pork, so technically it can be a rare. And I was
not
like,
rare.
Not rare, sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be well done.
Right, you said that. That's right. Yeah. That's how you said it. And I go, okay, good. Because, you know, I get like Lacey where I like, if I see a tiny bit of pink, I'm like,
sure.
Can I eat this?
Yeah.
But it was really, really good.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back on the weekends during brunch and I'm going to get these Southern style cheesy potatoes.
Okay.
So they bring them out in their little kind of cast iron skillet bowl, and it's covered with cereal. What would you call that? Corn flakes? Because it's not Frosted Flakes because those are sugary, right?
Yes.
I used to love to get Frosted Flakes and then put sugar on them. So it's literally just a bowl of sugar.
Oh my
what
God.
started was my parents would not let us have, we always had to have sugar-free gum. We always had diet or low sugar sodas, and we were not allowed to have sugary cereals at home. So it started with he would get like just corn flakes, and then I would just dump spoonfuls of sugar on top of them. And in the end, you would just have this glob of sugar and milk. Oh, so good. And then finally he started getting Frosted Flakes, and I still just kept putting it on there. But so these were non-frosted, non-sugary corn flakes on top. And I'm like, oh, really? I didn't think it was going to be good. It worked so well.
Good.
These are like chunky, cheesy potatoes. It's kind of like that old, it is fancified cheesy potato casserole from Cracker Barrel, but with chunk potatoes, and like, I loved it. I thought it was so good. I'm so glad I got this instead of those barbecue chips with icebox dressing and all. I would go back and sit and just like get this and a coffee in the morning while sitting at their little bar area or sitting outside. And like, that could be my breakfast. Or see if you can get this with just a piece of toast and some eggs or something. I loved it.
Good.
So that's all we did. It was an eventful weekend. It was an amazing weekend. We had an absolute blast. Hope that all of these types of things helped you guys for your next vacation, whether it's about the rides, about the foods, about managing lightning lanes. Of course, you can find us on most socials at Main ST Magic. I'm still going through the ringer with Facebook, hoping maybe this week I can finally get it back. It was hard for me to communicate with their support team.
Messed me up.
Yeah, Rhonda's account is messed up, so we're trying to get that back. But you can always reach out to us at magic@mainstmagic.com. hit us up on the contact form on our website at mainstmagic.com. Go ahead and subscribe to the email newsletter at the top, as we can start utilizing that soon. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Of course, Rhonda and I, we'd be very, very thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.